Hey Defenders, welcome back to our channel. This is the first video of 2026, and honestly, I don't think there's any more important topic than this topic to start the year with. I am your Vinod Senthil, and today we are going to be having a very simple, no nonsense conversation about DPDPA. And here's the thing, DPDPA is no longer something businesses can afford to plan it later mode. You can never do that anymore. 2026 is the year where data protection moves from discussion to the execution. Let me tell you, you can no more just plan it later. You have to get the execution on right now. Over the last year, we have seen how much businesses collect customer data, employee data, and vendor data. But most organizations still don't clearly know what data they have, where it lives, who is responsible for what, etc. Right? So that is exactly what DPDPA is trying to fix. And in this case, penalties are real, accountability is real, and most importantly, trust is now a directly. Let me tell you, trust is now directly linked to how you handle the data, right? That is why I thought this is the right time to sit and talk about something as important as this, but in more relaxed and a practical way. Today, we have our very own Somnath, our director who heads the governance, risk, and compliance practices here at DigiAlert. Somnath works closely with organizations of various size and scale. His core area of expertise is around governance, risk, compliance, data protection, and data privacy. And he's right at the center of helping businesses figure out what DPDPA actually means for them in real life. So let us take this forward, looking forward for an exciting discussion ahead.
Hey, hi, Vinod.
Somnath, great having you as a part of this session. So, to start off, can you quickly tell us what are we actually trying to cover today, and why do you think DPDPA is something that businesses really need to start thinking about right now, and especially having said we are all in 2026.
Today's agenda, yesterday, everybody would be eager to know what is the new rule or what is the new thing which has come up as a part of DPDP 2025. If you could all recall, mid of November, there was a release or an official announcement from the government of India stating that we have given you a guideline, we have given you a time frame, and these are the set of activities which needs to be done as an organization or as an individual, and how is that we should keep pace with other leading industries or other leading global regulations in terms of data privacy, right? So that would be the quick agenda. As we already discussed, you could probably send all your questions to the host or the co-host, and we'll get it answered at the end of the session. Maybe we'll have a quick 10-15 minute for the Q&A.
Okay, let me ask you this. This is something that I personally get asked a lot of times, right? So, this is a question that I want to put it to you. People keep mixing up with the concept of data privacy and data protection. Can you explain in a simple way what is the difference between these two? And why is it actually important, especially with respect to the DPDPA?
So we were just discussing about what could be the various similarities or what could be the differences between data privacy and data protection. As you could see, data privacy primarily focuses on how an individual's data is either being collected or shared for various business purpose. Could be through a legit purpose like a application which you need to do, or probably a marketing experience which the team would want to do or the organization wants to do. So now put together all these would typically focus on towards data privacy. Having said that, data protection would probably focus or is rather focusing more on how would you go ahead and secure the data which is already being collected for various purposes. Okay, when I say secure data means a lot of inbuilt activities with respect to how do you ensure that data is being retained, how do you ensure that data is being safe at rest or at transit or at motion, and what happens when the data is being lost, probably not intentionally but unintentionally due to a threat from a bad actor, or if the data is being misused by a rogue employee or an insider info. So, in order to have all these compliances, in order to have all these controls in place, we need to go ahead and apply some controls towards the collected data And those things are predominantly focused on data protection because typically people today try to merge both these things. The moment they talk about privacy, they also talk about protection, knowing that these things are different in a way because each set of activities have their own set of controls. So data privacy predominantly focuses on how do we collect, for what do we collect, and how do we use that. Okay. And data protection, the extension of that. So what do you do with the collected data? That could be the key difference between data privacy and data protection.
All right, let's come to the basics, right? For someone who's hearing this term for the first time, DPDPA, what exactly is DPDPA? Why was it introduced? And how is it different from the data or IT laws that we already had before in our country?
Right. So what exactly is DPDPA today? How would this new rule, which has been established by the government, is going to help us? All right. So I'm sure you are already aware that DPDPA is our comprehensive or our nationwide data protection law. This clearly calls out on two angles. One, how your personal information is being collected as an individual, and as an organization, how do we collect, process, store, and transmit? Okay. So now all these parameters put together were released during last month, and the government now has given timeline till mid of 2027 for organizations to go ahead and implement it end to end. Right, an interim timeline of November 2026 has been given for the organization who would want to become a consent manager. They got to register with the Data Protection Board and the committee so that they become a formal consent manager for various organizations. And for the organizations to implement, the deadline which the government set here is May 2027. To be precise, it's May 13th. Okay. So now invariably we have close to 18, 19 months of implementation time frame, which the whole industry feels is quite a um, confident or quite a legible thing which can be implemented and applied, right? So the evolution is what we are going to see here. It started from 2017, and the same year or the early next year, we had the draft bill released, which was being again um, approved by the cabinet. And if you could see, then almost the inevitable hit, the COVID, post-COVID activities, the bill went into cold storage. Uh, People that again revived the business became as usual. And then by 2022, the draft amendment was released. If you could see, solid 5 years from the initial discussion till the draft release. In fact, it is a bit of time when you compare with other global standards. But having said, we do have a different geography, we do have a different way of working. So the time frame took this 5 years, right? Post which 2023 was officially released, and now 2025, the government has come back and said, hey, these are the set of activities, these are the set of final enforcement laws which needs to, or regulations which needs to be implemented across organization. In a nutshell, that could be the evolution here.